And here we go. So in this story, we have a worthless mutt. We can call this a pit bull, a bully breed. Nevertheless, it's a worthless mutt, and it was put down because it turned on its worthless owner. And the owner is saying and basically confirming that dogs have brain damaged brains, but basically saying the dog is the great is fine one time, and then next time it's attacking, next time it's being aggressive and things like that. This only proves and is evidence that dogs have damaged brains. They are born with damaged brains. That's why dogs remain in the puppy phase. They are born as puppies, and I'm not sure what the hell goes on in that room. And I wouldn't be surprised if dogs are acting a fool in the room, in the dog's room. I wouldn't be surprised. But when dogs are born, they're worthless puppies, always moving around, always just being annoying, being a nuisance, being a pest. And they get bigger, depending on the dog, nevertheless, but they become adults, so-called adults, but bigger dog. But yet, all dogs, they remain in the same way as their puppy. And this is because, this is just me talking. I believe, in theory, that dogs have damaged brains. Their brains are not healthy. Their brains are messed up. That's why they behave the way they do. That's why you have to train these things to be acceptable in society. Because if you don't, they're going to attack and hurt someone, just like in this case. And in most cases, dogs end up killing babies, children, their owners, the neighbors, pedestrians, civilians. This person was like, I didn't know what to do. They were working with this worthless mutt, and training isn't reliable. It's not something that's reliable because it's a dog. It's not like you're training this thing to be a cat or act like a cat. It's a dog. It's always going to behave like a dog. And we've seen in many cases where the owner's there and the dog behaves, doesn't behave like a retard. As soon as the owner leaves, then the dog behaves like a retard. With these therapy dogs or service dogs, it's this training thing with dogs. I'm not saying it works, but it does something to dogs. But anyways, it takes like thousands of dollars to train these worthless mutts. And when the dog is ready to be a slave to a dog nut, they put the vest on it, and this dog will behave totally different. Obviously, some of these dogs are drugged and whatnot, but they put the vest on it, and this dog will behave like a non-retard. Like, it won't behave like a retard. But as soon as you take that vest off, that dog instantly becomes a retard. The dog instantly does stupid things. The dog starts to behave like a worthless mutt that it is. So yeah, training it's not reliable, but through evidence, the training can actually, make dogs, be tolerable. But again, it's not reliable because all you have to do is leave a room, take that vest off, and that dog is going to be mauling someone. Many of these cases where dogs maul the poor little baby or children, in many cases, it's when the adult, the parent, the guardian, they leave the room. And then that thing attacks. And then that dog will play as if, it's innocent or guilty or feel bad. They leave the room for a second. They turn their back for a second. And the dog goes on to maul the child and the baby. Like, what? I'm not, this is what happens, man. I guarantee this is what happens. Obviously, some of in these stories, the dog nuts are going to lie. They're going to lie to protect themselves. They're going to lie to protect the dog. They're going to lie to protect dog culture. But I'm sure many cases, let's say 50% of cases, when the parent, guardian, or the adult leaves a room and there's a child in the room, the dog is going to instantly maul that child. Or they leave the baby or their child in a separate room. The dog is going to find that baby and child and maul it. There are many cases like this, where the parents are sleeping in their own room, the baby's in the crib or its own little rocker. That dog roams and goes into the room and mauls that baby to death. I've heard many stories like this. So it's just training. It's like it works, but it's like, someone can still be killed by these dogs. So it's like it works, but it's not reliable, and it's not the most foolproof type of thing, if I'm making sense. Anytime she played with her room on my this was my little girl's arm head. I could think of what if this was my okay. I hate when they don't like space things out a little bit. She's starting to crawl. Okay, she has a daughter, Savannah, on this one. But I have to think about my little girl Savannah on this one. A lot of dog nuts, they don't do that. They put the dog first as priority. They treat the dog as their children. Whether the dog was their first or second, they always put that dog before their children. Usually, most times. She's starting to crawl and has toys that make noise. And it was starting to get to where anytime she played with her toys in the crib, it would go crazy in the back room or even in the kennel because of the noise. And I know what she means. It's like the dog that was in the car beside me. That thing went crazy, man. These things, you don't see this with any other animal, man. No, you don't see it. It was very hard decision, but we know it was the right one. And most to maybe 98% of dog nuts, they would keep that dog and, demote or push away the safety of their own children and themselves. I felt when he locked on my arm, all I can think of what if this was my little girl's arm or head. I couldn't let that happen when he would turn on us and trying to bite us. It was all like he turned to a different dog. These things are they have brain damaged brains. They have damaged brains. He wouldn't stop, and even then I still loved it. I would let it calm down and still go give it some hugs. And what does that do? What did that do? Nothing. Nothing. Because this thing is always turning on you. And you think these hugs did anything? No. Like, you're showing love to this thing. And it's not working. The training isn't working. Feeding it isn't working. And it was like he was confused on what he was doing. Again, kind of goes back to how dogs are retarded. And it was like he was confused on what he was doing, but it was getting worse every day. I love name the worthless mutt, Ohio. Okay. Man, a lot of these dogs have named their dogs the most stupidest names ever. And everyone around me knows I loved its little big-headed ass. This is what she loved. This ugly thing. Like, this is what she loved. This is what could have mauled her daughter, could have mauled her, could have mauled the lady across the street, could have mauled that person riding the bike, minding his own business, could have went onto someone's property and killed them. This is what she loved. And she's sorry. Man, oh man. I'm telling you. This dog culture is crazy. It is nuts, man. Dog culture is nuts. Oh, man. Tim Watson, remember, it's okay to hate dogs.